Hey, what is shaking bacon? We're back here with another book club, reading chapter 2 of Randy Travers' Trout Magic, the chapter entitled Hemingway's Big Two-Hearted Secret. And this is funny because this brings up, a lot of ideas, when it comes to like spot burning, when it comes to, being honest and how all fishermen are liars and stuff like that. And just a lot of funny things that are so true about fishermen and fly fishermen that Robert Traver really presses on in this chapter. And I wrote kind of a little blurb, little blog for Facebook and all that, but essentially talking about how at the core, I think fishermen are usually generally caring people. I mean, I think fishermen generally care more for the environment than those who don't fish. That's not everyone, of course, but just because you have that appreciation, you have that intimate relationship with the water and those fish. And so we just care so much about them. Not that fishermen cannot turn into savages. I mean, I have launched a creek chub at my buddy Nick uh, after catching like 30 in a row without having catch a trout. So don't get me wrong, we all have those low moments on the water. But I think at the core, most fishermen are such caring people. And however, I think on the surface, most of us are a bunch of filthy liars talking about like from Elf, where he goes, "You sit on a throne of lies." I think that's true for many of us. If you disagree, let me just run a few ideas by you first. You've never once said, you've never been like, that fish was probably 17 or 18 inches to your buddies, and then like go in with the ladder, like, yeah, that was an 18-inch fish, knowing in your heart that it was probably only 17, knowing in your heart it might have only been 16. I mean, let's be honest, guys. We've all been there. Adding a few inches to fish, or, people being like, how was, walking by someone on the stream, like, how'd you guys do? You're just like, yeah, it was okay. And meanwhile, in my head, I'm playing like, okay. All I did was hold my net out there, and the fish jumped in my net. I didn't even need my rod. That's right. I was that good. I mean, that happens quite often to me. I'm totally kidding, but it was that good. It was definitely more than okay. But we're just like, yeah, we caught a couple. Meanwhile, we caught every fish in the river. Been there, done that. You have too. Let's be honest. Uh, but it's funny because then Robert Traver in the chapter, he talks about this story that Hemingway wrote, the big two-hearted secret. And, a lot of people think that Hemingway is referring to in this story the Two-Hearted River in Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. And Traver basically goes on in the chapter to kind of disprove that. And he makes a lot of good points from the story. Like, he uses details from Hemingway's story. And I haven't actually read the story myself. I think that's going to be something that I do this week. But he uses, points from the story about, where the character got off. I believe the character's name is Adam Smith or something like that. Nick Adams. Nick Adams is the character's name. And he got off at one train station, but really he wouldn't have gotten off at that train station had he been going to fish the Two-Hearted River, because geographically it doesn't make sense. Even small details, like he said, when he was hiking, he would turn to the left to go to the river, when had he got off at the train station in the story, the Two-Hearted River would have been on its right, plus it would have been way on its right. He would have never been able to really hike there, like it says in the story. So he uses some factual stuff, which is interesting. But then he gets to the heart and the truth that us fly fishermen can't deny, and that is the pure deception and the filthy lies that we often tell each other when we're out on the water, or when we're chatting with each other fishing wise. And that is that likely the river or the spot that Hemingway talks about in the story, which I'm assuming based on how it moved the author and how it's affected other people, is a pretty magnificent spot. Like I said, I haven't read the story myself, but I'm assuming it's a pretty magnificent spot. So, no person, no fisherman truly is going to give away a spot that they love that much. And even a quote from the book, Travers says, no such man is going to snitch on a water he truly loves. And then he further compares it to, that relationship between man and water, and a water that he truly loves. And he compares it to the intimacy between man and wife, the sexual relations between man and wife. And, and some of the things that came to my mind were, as a man of faith, I tend to advocate for the truth. I would prefer people to be honest with me, and I would prefer to be honest with other people. However, let's be honest, none of us are perfect. We all make white lies. We all say stuff. We sometimes pretend to be mutes when we're not actually mutes. Been there, done that. But, would you lie to save your spouse or your children? Like a family member that you truly love, would you lie in order to protect them? When it comes to like witnesses and stuff, like how your spouse typically is not like a good alibi because, of course they're going to lie for you because it's in their best interest. Is there not anything more loving to that water than to lie to deceive the stream name just by the title? Because the name of the river is actually not mentioned in the piece by Hemingway, it's just in the title. And the Two-Hearted River has actually been very crowded, subject to a lot of overfishing because of this piece. And so it's a true tactic of deception by Hemingway that Traver points out is likely the case, which is really interesting and it's so true in so many cases. And let's be honest, we've all been there. We've all done that. And I'm actually going to leave some coordinates on the screen just to, like I said, fishermen are caring at their core. On the surface, they're liars. We're not going to give away our spots. I'm going to turn into an Olympic sprinter the moment you ask me where I caught that big fish. I'm going to be out. I'm out. Gone. You ain't getting me. Gone forever. Aaron Hernandez. Rest in peace. Anyways, just to show you that I'm not a complete jerk, that I do care, I'm going to give you a great spot. I'm going to put the coordinates on the screen. You can put those into Google Maps or your GPS. It's a great spot to fish if you're in that area. So I will leave those on the screen. Enjoy. If you did enjoy this book club, leave a like on the video. I'm going to leave the link for this book to Amazon so you can purchase it if you want. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out that fishing spot if you're anywhere in the area. And we will see you next week. So tight lines, guys.